Hey everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please Paper Crafts, and in this video I'm going to be creating a scrapbooking layout for two different YouTube hops that are happening on the same day. The first YouTube hop is Pinkfresh Fridays, where a bunch of us scrappy YouTubers get together once a month to create a project using only Pinkfresh Studio collections. And the second YouTube hop is for Ginger over at Ginger's Corner, who is celebrating her 2,000 subscriber milestone. And so I'm super happy and excited for Ginger. She's worked really hard on her channel. She has some really awesome content, and if you have not watched her yet, you should definitely go and check out her YouTube channel. I'm going to have links to Ginger's channel plus all of the other people that are participating in Ginger's YouTube hop, as well as all of the participants for the Pinkfresh Friday hop. Now, Ginger had given us a little bit of different things or guidelines to use to help with her celebration. And so I wanted to kind of go over those with you guys before I get started. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that Ginger is doing a giveaway over on her YouTube channel. It's for US and international subscribers. And she is giving out a $30 gift card to Scrapbook Generations for everyone. And so be sure to go check out her YouTube channel, watch her video, and then enter her giveaway. So Ginger asked us to do three things for her celebration. The first thing was to use the word joy, and she's going to be creating a story-based layout on joy and how she gets joy from her subscribers. And one of the interesting things about having a YouTube channel in the scrapbooking and paper crafting community is how much you get back from the people that view your videos and that subscribe to your YouTube channel. It is just amazing how much support and love there is out there for everyone. And it's just a really awesome community to be a part of. And I think there's so much joy in just sharing our love of paper crafting. And I've made so many crafty friends over the past 3 years. It's just been a really awesome experience. So I'm really happy that Ginger is finding that she's getting a lot of joy from having her YouTube channel. It's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun, and it brings a lot of happiness, I think. And whenever I'm having a bad day, I can just sit down in front of my camera and just play with paper and talk to you guys. It's really awesome. It's uplifting. And I really do appreciate everyone watching my videos and subscribing to my YouTube channel. So I think it's awesome that Ginger wants to do a celebration on joy. Okay, so the second thing that Ginger asked us to do was to use the color red, which I might find that a little bit of a challenge just because I'm using Pinkfresh Studio and their collections tend to be more pastel. I am going to be using a new collection, and it does have a red in it. So I am using red, but it's not going to be a focal point of my scrapbooking layout. Okay, and then the last thing that she wanted us to do was to use some type of scrap to create with and to talk about using scraps, because one of the things Ginger loves is doing, she likes to do a lot of embellishments and using scraps up. And so if you like to do that, definitely go and check out her videos. She has some really awesome videos on creating embellishments. And she is the person over in the 𝗬𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Facebook group that coordinates all of those awesome embellishment swaps. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this scrapbooking layout. And what I'm going to do here is I have a picture here, and I went through my pictures from the past year, and I wanted to find a picture where I had joy in that moment. This is a picture of my sister, my mom, and me. We were at a restaurant with some of my friends celebrating my birthday. And so I had a lot of joy on that occasion. So I thought this would be a really good picture to scrapbook. Okay, and so the next thing I wanted to do after I figured out what picture I wanted was to find a title. So I went off looking for a title. Now, one of my favorite things to do with scraps is to back a cut file. And so I thought, well, I could combine the idea of using scraps on my layout with also using the word joy. So I went searching on the internet, and I searched my Cricut library, I think, first. I searched through 𝗕𝗵𝗆𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, which is a website that has a bunch of different images and cut files and all kinds of stuff. And I ended up going out to the Silhouette Design Studio, and I looked there. And I wanted to find something that had the word joy that was not Christmas, so that was kind of a challenge. But I managed to find this cut file here, which has this really large title, Be Joyful. I thought that was really cool. I love this cut file. And I used my Cricut to cut this out. So you can purchase cut files from the Silhouette Design Store, which is, you know, Silhouette is the, they have the Cameo, which is another electronic cutting machine. And if you do purchase from their store, you just need to make sure that you purchase the SVG file and not the Silhouette file. It costs a little bit more, but you can use that file with other electronic cutting machines like your Cricut. Okay, so I went ahead and cut that out, used some white cardstock, and what I had planned to do was to back each one of the letters with a different scrap. Okay, so that's where we're going with this layout. Okay, so as I was going through looking at the different Pinkfresh Studio collections I had, I decided I wanted to use this one here. It's a brand new collection this year from Pinkfresh. It's called 𝗬𝗶𝗍𝗆, and I love it so much, as my friend 𝗬𝗵·𝗆𝗆 always says in her videos. It's funny, after we start watching someone or getting to know someone, you start to pick up all their expressions. I noticed after I spent a lot of time with Joanne, talking with her and watching her videos, that I say I love it so much all the time now. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what I have here. I thought I had more embellishments in this. I might have to go and look through my stash to see where I put them, because I could have swore that I had more than just these two things. But these are really cool embellishment. This is some vellum embellishments. Aren't those pretty? They have gold foiling on them. Those are just gorgeous. We have some enamel dots, and then we have the paper. And then what I have here is, this is this pocket here, which is from Hobby Lobby. It has these little snaps on it. I just have all of my scrap paper from all of my past Pinkfresh Studio projects. And so I'm going to be pulling scraps in from here to use with my layout. But we're going to start off first by looking for a background. And so this is really pretty. I love the colors. But most of the Pinkfresh Studio collections are very pastel. So I'm not going to have a lot of red. But this collection here has this red right here, and it's kind of like a lighter coloring red, but it's still a red. So we're going to use that. You can see here, here's some red here. So we're just going to go through and look to see what we can find for our background. And keep in mind that we're going to be using this really large title here, plus we'll have the photo right next to it. So we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of the background. And I'm just going to look through here. Let me see, what did I do with my picture? My picture is over here somewhere. There we go. Now the picture has some darker colors in it, but I think that's okay. It'll make it pop a little bit from everything else that's going to be on this layout. I love that green. Isn't that pretty? My favorite colors are green and blue-green, aqua, turquoise, teal. I just love all those colors. Okay, here's some more green. All right. And then we have some caterpillars. Isn't this collection pretty? I love this collection. All the florals. The colors are gorgeous. Okay. And then here's one that has pink and red. I kind of like that one. We could use that for a background, but let's go ahead and keep going to see what else is here. Okay, we have this floral. And then this one, which is kind of like a rainbow. And some more cut aparts, a stripe. There's this paper here that looks like little cubes. That's kind of cool. I like this paper. That could work too as a background. Although, if I use this as a background and I have that really large cut file, most of this is going to be covered up. And there's a lot of white on the edge, so I don't think that's going to work. I think I might go ahead and take my title off the mat just to see. I can lay it on top of these different papers so we can kind of get a better idea of what it's going to look like. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off of the mat. Now, one of the things that I like to do when I'm trying to take something off of a mat, especially something that's going to be this delicate, because this is pretty thin, is to take the mat, make sure you're not sticking this on your paper because the mat will stick to anything. And then you're just going to curl the mat back so that all of this just comes off. That way your paper doesn't curl, the mat is the one curling. So your paper is not going to curl up and it won't have as much of a curl in it. I'm just going to take all of these letters off. I thought I could use these letters as a guide to cutting out the different pieces that I need to back this cut file. Okay, this is one I'm going to throw away. let's see, I can go ahead and get rid of these little pieces. And this one here, I might keep these little small pieces over here because I'm always losing stuff like this. Now you could also use a tool to try to help you get all of these pieces off as well. And I might go ahead and put y'all on, put this on fast forward so that you're not having to watch me do this for the entire time. Okay, so now I have this all peeled off of the mat, and you can see how thin this is. So it's very delicate, and you need to just take your time when pulling this off the mat because it's really easy to tear this. And if you do, you'll be sad and you'll have to cut it again. So, now you can see that I guess you can see a little bit of that color through there, so that could work. So my idea for this layout was just to do something like this. So the title, Be Joyful, is going to be the most prominent thing on the layout along with my picture. And this is going to be a very simple layout to create because the title and the picture take up so much of the space. Okay, so let's see, we have this one here. And then this is really cute. It looks like little seed packets with like for flowers. Okay, we could do the stripe one. And I'm just gonna do this because I love doing this. This is one of my favorite things to do when I'm scrapbooking, is just to try out different paper for my backgrounds. And I don't really like this one as much because those lines are colorful, but they're very thin, and I think it's competing too much with my cut file. Although my cut file will have more paper, I don't know, just don't like it. Okay, we'll try this one. That's really pretty. I love that. So we could definitely do something like that. So I also have this that I could use as a background. I think that's really pretty. This gives a whole different vibe to the picture. And I think what I might do is to take, I like these two papers. Let's see if there's any other ones. I might take the paper that I have here as a possible potential background and then look through my scraps and see what I have with the scraps that would go with these papers, because that might help me to figure out exactly my direction for how I want to create this layout. So the other one that I really liked was this green paper. I really love this one. I think this is super pretty. I could do something like that as well. Okay, so my timer's going off for my sweet potatoes, and so I guess I need to just take a quick break and I'll be right back. So I have 3 different papers here that could potentially be used as a background. I have this green tone-on-tone plaid paper, also this red and pink plaid, and then I also have a stripe paper. So all of those would make an awesome background. I'm kind of leaning towards this pink and red plaid just because Ginger asked us to use the color red because it's her favorite color. So this paper might be the perfect background paper for my layout. Now I do need to see what scraps I have available because I need to use my scraps to back the cut file. And I do want to keep this in the same color family as this 𝗬𝗏𝗀 collection. And one of the things I like to do when I'm working with a particular manufacturer is sometimes I will have a place where I keep scraps from that manufacturer, not by collection, but just all together, which I have here. And one of the reasons why I like to do that is because when you have paper and embellishments from a manufacturer like Pinkfresh Studio, they use the similar colors from one collection to another. So you can mix and match their collections. And so that's one of the things that I like about working with one manufacturer and keeping all of the scraps together. If I'm working on a layout, no matter what the collection is, I have a place where I can go just to grab paper that might go with my layout. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the scraps that I have here. Sometimes I put the scraps back in with the collection that I'm working with. Just kind of depends on the particular paper in the scrap and how much of the collection I've used up. So let's go ahead and I think what I'm going to do is bring in some of the embellishments that go with this collection, just so I can keep in mind the colors that I want to bring in, because I want to use embellishments from this 𝗬𝗏𝗀 collection. So I did go through and find some of the embellishments. I knew that I had more embellishments because I did get this collection as part of the class that they had. They had I guess it was an online event with a bunch of classes, and you got 3 full collections. So I knew that this wasn't the only thing that I had. So let's see, we have the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀 cardstock stickers. I have some hanging banners. Also have some ephemera. There's these new title ephemera that Pinkfresh just started coming out with. I already have a title, so I don't know that I would use anything from there, but there might be some. I like to use words on my layout, and there's some things here that are smaller that might work. I also have the 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗄 stickers. We have more ephemera. This is from a collection called Chrysanthemum, and this was one of the things that they had given us in that event as well. And it's really pretty. I love the colors, but they didn't have any paper with that collection. So I'm hoping that they will come out with more things to go with this chrysanthemum that they gave us. But yeah, I have enamel dots, and this is the journaling bits and stuff. I don't think I'll use this for this layout because these colors are quite different from what's in the 𝗬𝗏𝗀𝗀 collection. So I probably wouldn't bring in anything from there. But I really hope that they do come out with paper for that, because it's a really gorgeous collection. This was one of the things that was in there. Isn't that pretty? I just love the colors. It's like pink and orange and green. Isn't that beautiful? So this was an exclusive for that online event, and I don't even think this is available on their website. So I'm really hoping that they come out with more of that. Here's some more the stickers, 3D stickers. Isn't that pretty? I just think that that is the most gorgeous color scheme. Okay, so that'll have to be for another layout. Okay, so we're going to be working with this. I think what I'm going to do is just put this over here so I can keep my eye on it as I'm going through my scraps. One of the things that's interesting about Pinkfresh is their yellows are quite different depending on the yellow that they have in there. Some of the paper really just doesn't go. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up so I can use it as my color guide to picking my scraps. So let's go ahead. This is a really strong yellow paper, and it goes pretty well actually with the color that's in this collection. So this could be a paper that I would use. We also have this one. This is a little bit of a lighter color, and that might actually work a little bit better. So I think I'm going to use this scrap here. I also have this rainbow paper. That's pretty. And it has some of the same colors. We have a pink, but there's not really this blue, but they do have the pink, yellow, and this kind of aqua color. So I could potentially use that one. And here's a green. Yeah, that's pretty close to that green. This is a little bit lighter of a color, but that could still work. So I'm just going to put this here. I'd like to do each letter in a different color, so that would be, or a different paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 8 different scraps. And I could bring in something like this with the hearts. That's really cute. I also want to keep in mind not only the colors that I'm picking, but also the style, because as I'm looking at these papers here, this paper right here doesn't seem like it goes with the other ones. So I'm probably going to eliminate that one. It doesn't have the same look and feel as these 3 papers do. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that one. This is a I don't know, they have this color here, but I just don't think I want that one because it's got a really strong purple. We have more of that paper, and some of these must be from the 6x6 paper pad. I was going to say because all the paper is double-sided, But the 6x6 paper pads are not double-sided, so that must have come from that. All right. We have this paper. This also does not have the right colors or the right look and feel. This is from, I can't remember what collection that's from, but it's an older collection. Okay. We have all kinds of different scraps. And here's some of the paper from the paper pad. So that one, I don't know, not feeling any of those. This is actually not Pinkfresh paper, that's cardstock. And have this blue and white tick. Now, if I don't find enough papers in my scraps, I could cut into the paper, the 12x12s, but for something like this, I would really hate to do that just because I'm using very small pieces here. So we're going to try our best to use up some of these scraps. Now that's really pretty. It's a really strong red. And I could bring more red in because that's the color that she wanted us to use for the layout. Now this is Christmas. That's not going to work. And more Christmas. This color is kind of in there, but it's not in any of those other papers. Okay, then we have this yellow paper in a floral. And I don't think that goes. Okay. That one really does not go, neither does that one. So even though these are all from Pinkfresh, and a lot of their collections kind of, you know, have the similar colors, you also have to look at the look and feel and the designs as well. I'm not feeling that one. Now this is one where the color of the yellow is almost like a mustard, and it's much deeper than this yellow here. This yellow suits this collection better. Okay, we have that paper. There's a blue. And here's a green stripe. Okay, this is kind of a fun paper. I definitely could see doing something with this paper, potentially. Especially if I pick the right part of it, so that could maybe work. Okay, we have more Christmas paper. That's not right. This is, neither one of those would go. Some of these are really much older collections, and so they're not going as well with this newer collection here. More Christmas paper. I do have this one, but I think it's too similar to the background. And here's another, I think I did a layout where I just punched out a whole bunch of circles. And I probably should get rid of some of this. I'm going to throw that away. I'm trying to challenge myself to throw away my scraps a little bit more. And just to throw stuff away that I think that I would never use. Especially something that's the wrong shape or like that got all messed up. I'll just throw that away. I'm just going to be a little bit more picky about what I save, I think, in the future. I have been saving like every piece of paper. I have a really hard time throwing away even the smallest of scraps. And I'm trying to get away from that and just let things go if I don't think it's something I would use. So, okay, that's not going to work. That's really pretty. See, that goes really well with the colors over here, so that could be possibly one that I could use. These little houses go really well with the colors. I'm not sure how good that would look though behind one of these letters. So I'm going to say no to that. Okay, so let's see. We have this paper. Now I could potentially use multiple papers. Like I wouldn't have to use like different papers for every letter. And we could repeat some of them. I really like the one with the hearts. I think that's cute. So isn't that cute? Look at that. And we could use this one here. I like the stripe too. Yeah, I think that this might work. I think we'll use these papers. So I'm going to go ahead and back my cut file. And I think while I'm doing that, I might turn my camera off because this process could take a while. And maybe what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit about my process and I'll do a fast forward so that y'all won't have to see the whole thing because it's going to take me a little while to do this. So even though the process of backing the cut file takes quite a bit of time, it's going to be the focal point of this layout, and I think it's going to be worth the effort of doing that. And I think what I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier is to use these letters as a guide. I could just trace around the letter. And that way that I wouldn't have to try to trace around with the pencil on these really thin lines because it's really delicate, this cut file. So I think what I will do is we'll start with the E, and I'll just find the E here, and I will use it, and I will just cut around it, or maybe trace around it with my pencil. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this on the back here, just so. Okay, so once we have, okay, so what I decided to do was to just take each letter, trace around it, and then we're going to cut it out. And what I like to do when I do this is just to make sure to go just a little bit outside of this pencil line because I want to be able to glue it onto the back of this really thin line. So I don't want to do too much because I don't want it to show on the other side. We're just going to take our scissors and just leave a little bit of a border all the way around. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm just going to cut this out with my scissors. And it's always better to leave a little bit more than you think you will need. Just make sure that you have enough paper there to cover up the hole. Because you can always cut more off, you know, but if you cut too much, you can't put it back on. Alright, so when you're backing a cut file, you want to just make sure that you cut enough of the paper so that you have something to attach it to the cut file, but not so much that you can see it. And it's always better to cut it a little bit bigger because you can always cut some more off of it. So this J right here, I did cut that one a little bit too big. And so you can just go ahead and trim that off. And I did use this 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗲𝗀𝗃 liquid glue. It's my favorite glue. I like this one, and I also like the art glitter glue. And either one of those works really well. The glue comes out very thin. It dries clear, and it's really easy to work with. You don't have to squeeze the bottle too hard. And both of these glues are awesome. But this one might be a little bit easier to find. I had started off using the art glitter glue, and then I was having a hard time finding it. And when I did find it on Amazon, it was super expensive. Now the price kind of goes up and down, but 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗃 has their own website, so you can purchase it from 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗃 and also from Spellbinders and from Amazon and other places. Okay, so I think it's a little bit easier to find than the art glitter glue. Okay, one of the things I did too was I did fussy cut out some of these little hearts, just because when I cut this piece, it had a dark green heart right here, and I didn't really have that color anywhere else. So I just thought it would be cool to do that, and it kind of came out cute. I just kind of overlapped those hearts on top of the Y there, and it gave a little bit more color to that top part of that O. Now I did get a little bit of the pencil marks on there, but I can just take an eraser and erase that, which is why I like to use a pencil. Most of the time I try to trace on the back of the paper, just because if you trace on the back of the paper, you don't have to really worry about the pencil marks. But sometimes if you want to get a particular part of the paper to make sure you get like the right part of the pattern or the right colors, then you're going to want to trace on the front of the paper. So I did do that for a few of the letters. Okay, so once I had backed all of this, I did put it on top of my red and pink plaid. And what did I do with that? Let me go ahead and grab this. So the three papers that I had started with originally as potential backgrounds was, I lost it. It was this paper here, and then also this one here. And I did end up, no, it wasn't that one. Wasn't it a different one? Oh yeah, it was this one here. I did end up cutting into one of the 12 by 12 papers just because I couldn't find another paper to use. So I ended up using this three-dimensional block paper as one of my papers to use to back the cut file. Okay, so I originally started out thinking I was going to use this paper as my background. And when I put this on top of there, I didn't really like how it looked. To me, the cut file blends too much into this background. I don't think it really complements it at all. And you can see if I change it to this one, how much better that looks. That cut file really pops from this green background. But let's try it out. Try out a few other papers just to see if there's anything else that might be better than this paper here. So we'll try this one. And that's super cute. So maybe we might have to go with that. I like that this one has more color to it. It's just not plain green. So we have that one. We also have this one. So I think this is going to be the background, but I'm just curious now if we go back to, I can't use this paper because I cut into it. That was one of the paper I was thinking about using, but just for grins, let's try it out on a couple of other papers here. This paper here is really cool because it has a lot of color to it, but it might be just a little bit too much. Yeah, I think that's way too busy. So I don't think that would work at all. But let's try maybe this side here. And that's really cute, but still a little bit too busy. Okay, let's try this one with the words. That's really cute. And I really like this one a lot more, but I still think it's a little bit too busy with the cut file for the cut file to stand out. And then we have this paper here, which is just a grid paper. And that one's really cool as well. Isn't that fun, just looking at the different backgrounds just to see what a change it will make to your layout just by changing the background paper. Okay, so I think we're going to go back to this one. And I think I want to mat my picture with some white cardstock. Choices. I also really like this one. I think I'm going to go with this grid paper just because by going with the grid paper, it's really going to make this stand out more. This is more of a neutral background, and I think I will use some colorful paper. Maybe I'll mat my picture with some white cardstock and then with another paper, and just to give it a little bit more around the picture, and then we can start embellishing. So let me go ahead and mat my picture, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and matted my picture with some white cardstock, and then I used some more of this paper, the back of this paper, to mat my photo. And I just thought that that would make the photo stand out a little bit from the grid background, just by having the mat extend out a little bit. And then I decided to do some paper tearing, which I think is really fun. I tore the paper up here and down here at the bottom, and I wanted to add just a little bit more color to the background. And I used this paper, which came from, I can't remember what collection this is. Let's see, it's this paper here, Keeping It Real. So this was from the Keeping It Real collection. I thought this was cute. It had a lot of the same colors. It had all these little icons, and I tried to line the paper up so that you saw the things that I wanted to kind of highlight from the paper. So I picked out this heart that says Little Joys and the butterfly. And there's another butterfly down here at the bottom, little coffee cup. And so I thought that was cute. Also thought maybe I would bring in some flare buttons. These flare buttons are from my button shop, which is a Yes Please Paper Crafts button shop. And this was part of my October release. So these were the, I think here's October bundle, or was this September? This might have been September. I think this was this is September, not October. So this was a September bundle, which was, so that was that one. I thought the colors really went well. So I have this one up here that says, Here We Are. And then we have, Let's Have the Best Day. And then Memories down here at the bottom. I thought that would be cute to include some of those flare buttons. And so the last thing that we need to do here now is to start embellishing. So I have some puffy stickers. I also have the cardstock stickers and these vellum pieces. And I'm not sure if this layout really suits the vellum pieces. I think that I might save these for another layout. But I do want to use some of the cardstock stickers if I can figure out what I did with them. Okay, oh, here they are. Because I had taken these out of the package and used this as my guide to picking out the scraps to use to back the cut file. And as I was looking at here, I saw this one here. This is my happy place. And I thought maybe I could put that up here somewhere. I almost wish I could have tucked that in. Or maybe I could just put it here on the side. I don't know, maybe I don't want to use that one. I have such a hard time using stickers. Let's see what else we have on here. We also have, some of these really don't suit this layout. We have Best of Times, See the Good in All Things. Let's see what else. Okay, we have this ticket here, which is super cool. And maybe I could use this here somewhere. And it has these little dots, like, see if I can poke this out. And maybe we could cut this in half and use part of the sticker at the top and then something, the rest of it somewhere else. Okay, so I'm going to play around with my embellishments a little bit and then I'll be right back. So I think this layout is just about finished. I did end up adding 3 clusters to my layout, one up here at the top next to the B and then down here at the corner of this picture. And I think that makes a really nice triangle around the picture itself. I also did add a couple of stickers here just to take care of some of this dead space up here at the top of the photo. And so I really love this little cloud. It says be someone's rainbow, and it's got rain coming down in little different colored dots. And then we have this flare button that says here we are, more happy days please, happy to be here, because I love you, this fills me up. And then be joyful. And I just love all the different little word quotes that I used for this layout. And then this button says let's have the best day. And then we have memories, memories, memories up here at the top. I think the last thing that I'm going to do is to add a couple of enamel dots. This layout got a little bit busy, which that sometimes tends to happen, which is why I ended up not really putting on a lot of embellishments. My clusters ended up being very simple, which I think is okay. I didn't do a whole lot of layering. Usually a lot of times I layer things in the clusters, overlap them, pop things up with the foam tape to make some dimension. But in this case, I had dimension with my flare buttons and with this little butterfly here, because I did pop the butterfly up with some foam tape. And then I think that because I have such a large title, that really in itself is an embellishment for this layout. And it does take up quite a bit of the space. So let's go ahead and just add a few of these enamel dots. I added in the enamel dots in all 3 of my clusters, and so this layout is pretty much finished. I thought it turned out super cute. It wasn't what I was expecting when I started, but sometimes that's part of the fun of the scrapbooking process, is sometimes when you get an idea and you sit down to create a layout, it turns out exactly as you had imagined it, but sometimes you just go in a different direction as you're in the creative process, and I think that's what happened for this layout. It's always fun to see what the end result is, and so I wanted to just thank everyone for joining me for this video and watching this scrapbook process video, and be sure and go check out everyone else's videos that is participating in the 2 YouTube hops, the Pinkfresh Friday hop and also Ginger's 2,000 subscriber celebration hop. So be sure and go look at all those videos. It's a lot of fun to see what everyone else creates. And that's all I have. So I'm going to give you guys a close-up of the layout. So if you like this scrapbook process video, please give this a thumbs up because it helps me to know what videos y'all like to see on my channel. It also helps YouTube to know what videos to recommend to other viewers. And if you're not already a subscriber and you'd like to see more videos, please subscribe. I would love to have you join my channel. Okay, so that's all I have. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I hope to see you next time. Bye now.